today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the best investments to make right now in March 2020. What are some short-term great ways to make money? Now, before we get into that, I did want to say a little bit about our membership program because we've been spot on a lot of our picks, and a lot of our members have made a lot of money. Now, we were recommending in June 14th, before the season had started, DeMar DeRozan's 2009 Topps Chrome Refractors, and on July 5th, DeMar DeRozan, we recommended his Topps base, which were ungraded. We recommended them for around $12. So if you guys would like to join in on our program, click the link down below because a lot of our investors who are investing with us have made a lot of money. We were actually recommending a lot of members to grade these ungraded Topps because at the time the gem rate was pretty high. So a lot of our investors and our members were buying up these ungraded Topps DeMar DeRozans for around $12 and grading them, and the PSA 10s are currently around $600. So if you guys would like to join in on the profit, click the link down below to sportscardsinvest.com. But enough about our program. We're going to hop right into this video. So the first best short-term investment, I believe, is James Wiseman. Now, of course, the Warriors have been stunning this season. Of course, minus the times where Draymond has been gone. But we're very soon getting Draymond's return, and we're very soon, of course, getting James Wiseman's return. Now, the Warriors are likely a championship contender team. They've got a lot of talent. They've got a great team structure. They've got some things they have to work on right now. But I think Wiseman coming right into the equation as a center, who has the ability to flourish. And here's why. I mean, Stephen Clay and Jordan Poole have incredible three-point shots. And what happens with teams with such great three-point shooting is a lot of the defense is really focused around the perimeter. Around the three-point line, a lot of the defense focuses. And what that allows is for big men to really dominate the paint. Because it's nearly impossible to double James Wiseman when you've got so many shooters around him, such as Steph, Clay, and Jordan Poole. So I think there's a great opportunity within this Warriors offense for James Wiseman. And I think Wiseman, being as young as he is with so much potential, I think people are going to get really excited about his return, as people already are. He's already playing in the G League tonight as I record this, his first game in the G League. So I definitely think as he ramps things up, this team's going to be very scary, and James Wiseman is likely going to be the starting center on a championship contender team. So I think his prices are very low right now, and it's a great time to get into some of his cards. I personally really love his Optic Holo ungraded for just around $15 to $16. I think it's a great buy. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into the next pick. And our next pick is Jayson Tatum and his Optic Holo. Now, of course, Jayson Tatum and the Celtics have been outstanding. However, the market has really yet to I would say, react to how the Celtics are playing and, the teams that they are beating. I mean, this Celtics team has gone up hand in hand with Kyrie and Kevin Durant and come out victorious. And Jayson Tatum has been leading the way, and he's so young and doing so much for his team. And I think, as the Celtics continue to climb the standings, I think we're really going to see a big shift in Tatum's prices. We've already seen it on some of his cards, such as his base Prism PSA 10. However, some of his cards are still lagging behind, and that's where I see a lot of short-term opportunity. Because if his base Prism has doubled and his Optic Holo has only gone up 30%, I think his Optic Holo is going to see that same growth of, the 200% increase that his base Prism saw. So I think this is a great short-term buy right now, for the next month or so as the Celtics continue to climb the standings. But without further ado, we're hopping on to our next pick, and this is Chris Paul. A lot of the times, injuries, frankly, leave an incredible opportunity for investment. Now, the Suns have literally an 80% win percentage this year. They've been absolutely killing it. They've already proven they can show up in the playoffs, as we saw last year. I think this Suns team is incredibly underrated in terms of the potential that they have to really, string together some great playoff runs. And I think Chris Paul, his return will come likely in the beginning of the playoffs, and I think his cards are really going to soar during that time, as we saw last year. The Suns are definitely making it out of the first round, in my opinion, making it into at least the third round. I definitely think the Suns have the potential to be a conference championship team again this year, and I think as less teams are available to invest in. When the playoffs first start, investors' attention are focused on all 16 teams in the playoffs. Every single round, all investors' money really shifts to around 8 teams. And then the next round comes around and all investors' money are shift to only 4 teams. And keep in mind, only the stars on those teams. And so if the Suns can be a Final Four team this year and all the attention is around the stars on those 4 teams, I think Chris Paul's cards are going to soar as they did last year. So I think it's a great time to get in right now before the playoffs and potentially hold deep into the playoffs if you're confident in the Suns. Now, without further ado, we're hopping into our next pick, and that will be Jamal Murray, another injured player whose return is nearing. And the Nuggets have been incredible. Of course, Jokic has been an MVP caliber player. And so I think the Nuggets, with Jamal Murray back, with Michael Porter Jr. healthy, I think they've got a great solid run in this open Western Conference. We've never seen the West this open in quite a while. These last few years have allowed a lot of new teams to really make a buzz in the West. Before we had the Warriors owning it every single year. Now we've got a lot of teams in the mix. We've got the Nuggets, we've got the Suns, we've got the Warriors. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for the Nuggets to really draw some attention. And where Jamal Murray's prices are sitting right now, I think it's a no-brainer to get into some of his cards. I believe purely his return will make a great investment, just based on the fact that he returns and people start to buy his cards again. Because keep in mind, the Nuggets, in my opinion, are a top 3 team in the West in terms of championship potential. And I think that Jamal Murray, being a star on one of those teams who really shows up in the playoffs, I think it's a great time to get into some of his cards. Very low pop compared to usual, young stars such as Zion, Luka, Trey, Ja Morant. 2016 Prism was very low pop, so when his demand shows up, prices can rise very fast. Now, without further ado, we're going to hop right into our next pick. Player from the same draft class, Ben Simmons. The Nets tonight, as I'm recording this, just blew out the 76ers, and the Nets are looking like strong favorites in the East. At least one of the favorites in the East. And I think Ben Simmons coming back to a team full of shooters, motivated than ever, ready to make a playoff push, is going to be really beneficial to his prices. No matter what the past holds, I think the future is going to excite investors for Ben Simmons. And he's kind of, I guess, a fan favorite, at least. Maybe not a fan favorite, but I would say he's at least, a very open player who's into the media, who's into, of course he was dating a Kardashian, Kendall Jenner. So there's a lot of kind of buzz around his name. And I think that's what makes a player really investable. And I think Ben Simmons has just that. He's got a big fan base playing in basically New York City, Brooklyn, a borough of New York City. So I think there's a lot of hype around Ben Simmons' cards when he returns, in my opinion. And I think that's going to lead to some great price increases in the short term. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you would like to join in onto our program, click the link down below. But without further ado, we're going to close out the video. I'm out. Peace.